Okay, so I want to start off by saying that I actually went through with doing the veterans interview project. So I actually did meet with someone and interview them, and then when school went online, we hadn't actually finished our interview. So then we finished the interview through FaceTime. So my participant, when I asked her, oh, what would be a good pseudonym, Jane Doe name, she said Mary Jane. So we're gonna call her Mary for this project. So Mary was in the military, of course, and she enlisted at age 19 for a 4-year contract that she saw all the way through, except for give or take like 3 months, and then went on inactive duty. And she was a food specialist in the military, which means she was a cook. And Mary is currently now 25 years old, and she currently works at the Vet Center at Antelope Valley College, and she is a liberal arts major. And through the interview process and the research that I used, I can say that the military overall positively impacted Mary's interpersonal relationships in a very good way. So, to start off with, I would like to talk about how Mary's generosity, a part of that is much influence from the military. And that's based off this article from the Journal of Ethnographic and Qualitative Research from Jenner 2019, stating student veterans measure success based on their capacity to give back. And this is so very apparent in Mary. Firstly, when Mary first left the military, she became a behavioral interventionist. And this is a job where you work with children who need a lot of help. And this job requires so much patience and really the capacity to want to help people. Now, after that, she is now currently working at the Vet Center. And what she does at the Vet Center is helps people all day long. And a lot of times it's other veterans. And this article does also bring up how veterans really want to connect with other veterans after, and this is obviously what Mary is doing at the Veteran Center. And of course, Mary is super generous with her time, as our interview was again supposed to be 30 minutes long, and it went well over an hour. Now, the military mainly just had positive influences on Mary's interpersonal relationships. But I will say that her transition back to civilian life was a bit hard for her because she felt like civilians didn't always understand where she was coming from, or she would have to explain things to them that everyone in the military knows. So she felt like this sense of differentness, but like not being a part of the in-group at first during her transition to civilian life. So in that way, it was a negative experience for her interpersonal relationships, but this again was just her transition. Now, Mary had a very unique experience in the military. She was stationed in Hawaii, which is very rare, and she really wanted me to understand that the military in Hawaii is different from the military anywhere else. So she actually got to go to Alaska for a few months, and there she saw a different side of the military. And she says that in Hawaii, the military is very laid back as it can be for it still being the military, of course. So she said the military in Hawaii was just really positive and had like this positive support group, and it can be a lot more stricter. Your commanders are your higher ups, and they're not necessarily as much as your friends in other states. And so the positivity from the military in Hawaii really rubbed off on Mary through her interpersonal relationships. And the military also brought Mary and her mother closer together. Now, when Mary first joined the military, she said her relationship with her mother wasn't the best, but she started talking to her mom even more through FaceTime, and they just really connected better, even though they were farther apart. So this definitely positively impacted her interpersonal relationships in regards to her family. Now, Mary also utilized the services of the military and got counseling after leaving the military. And this, I really think, helped promote her openness in her interpersonal relationships. So I think that was definitely a positive aspect of her experience, even in and after. So Mary really was not the person I expected I would be interviewing. I really thought that, because when we were making up the questions for this in class, we were thinking that the military would have a lot of negative impacts on your interpersonal relationships, being that you're separated from people and you're traveling a lot and it can be very stressful. But Mary is extremely open and happy and just giving and strong in her relationships. And I really do think that was influenced from her experience in the military. And everything just led to this confidence that she has that you can see from a mile away. So all in all, I think Mary's interpersonal relationships were positively impacted from the military. Thank you.